Hello everyone, in order to do the Easter egg on Firebase Z, you first need to turn on the power, and once you turn the power on, then you're going to progress to the mission control area. In the mission control area, this is where Dr. Peck's office is located. You need to talk to him. Once you're finished talking to him, you're going to go to the atrium location, which is next to the spawn area, and talk to Ravenov. Once you're finished talking to him, he's going to give you a card key called Ravenov ID badge. You're going to pick that up. You will then need to progress to the equipment storage location, and there's going to be a locker there. You can swipe that ID badge at that locker and it will open up. Inside the locker, you're going to find compound S16. Pick that up. And then you're going to progress to the engineering location and find another locker. Inside that locker, you will find compound 36. Pick that up. And then after that, you're going to progress to Colonel's office location and find another locker in which you will find compound P65. You're going to pick that up. Once you have all of the compounds, you're going to progress to the field hospital and insert them into a device called the chemical mixer. And once the compounds start mixing, you're going to want to step away from the chemical mixer because this is going to spawn enemies in, and you're going to want to take out all of those enemies. Once you take out all of the enemies, walk back up to the chemical mixer and interact with it one more time. This will put all of the compounds into a new device called the agent delivery system, which is just to the left of the chemical mixer. You're going to pick that device up. You're then going to progress to the OPC location and attach that agent delivery system to an air conditioner. Once you do that, you're going to go back down to Dr. Peck's office in the mission control area and wait for the truth serum to take effect on Peck, and he will start talking once it does. As you listen to Dr. Peck, he's going to tell you to go to the data center location. And our next step at the data center requires us to capture mimics, and the mimics we're going to capture were once people. Once you capture these mimics in a trap and then plug it into a device, an audio message is going to play. And from these audio messages that play, you're looking for a tracker ID and 2 separate activation codes. And you can only get one of these items from each mimic. So in total, you have to capture 3 mimics to get all 3 of those items. And in addition to this, they have to be the correct 3 mimics. So you're going to have to go to 3 specific locations on the map. If you don't go to these 3 specific locations, you will get the wrong mimic and thus the wrong audio log to play. And then you're going to have to grab another trap and go find another mimic once again. In addition to this point, sometimes when you go to all 3 of these locations, you're not going to find any items on the ground and no mimics are going to spawn in these locations. It's random chance. In that case, you're going to kill the remaining zombies and then progress to the next round. And then in the next round, once again, go to each one of those 3 locations until you find a mimic. With all of this being said, after you are finished talking to Peck and you go to the data center, on the top level of the data center, you're going to find a memory transference station. You're going to interact with that station. After you interact with the station, you'll have access to pick up 4 essence traps, but you can only pick up 1 at a time. After you have 1 of the essence traps picked up, you're going to go to one of those 3 locations I was talking about earlier. Those locations being the military command control room, motor pool, and Peck's quarters. And what you're going to do at each of these 3 locations is look at the ground and look for salvage drops, equipment drops, or kill streak drops. And all of those are going to be fake items the mimic is pretending to be. You need to walk up to each one of those items until the mimic shows itself. Once the mimic shows itself, you need to damage it enough until there's only a tiny sliver of health left. Then you're going to throw the essence trap on the ground, and then once the mimic gets close enough to the essence trap, you're going to double tap in the use button. Once you do that, that will start capturing the mimic in the trap. If you have the health low enough on the mimic, it will stay trapped in the essence trap. If you do not drop the health down low enough of the mimic, it'll spit the mimic back out and the trap will be destroyed. Then you have to go and grab another one and repeat the process. Once you have the mimic captured, you're going to pick that essence trap back up, bring it back to the data center, and plug it into the memory transference station. Once the trap is inserted, then the audio log will play, and you can confirm whether or not you got the correct mimic by listening to the audio log for that tracker ID or one of the activation codes. You can also verify this by name, and the way you can verify this by name is by turning on subtitles. With the subtitles on, look for the name in the subtitles of the person who is speaking when the audio log plays. The first person is Zabin, the second person is Brahms, and the final person is Sokolov. So after you hear one of the items I told you to listen for or see one of the verified names, then you're going to grab another trap, and then you need to finish the current round that you're on in order to spawn another mimic and then go get that mimic. And repeat the process until you have all 3 items. Once you get all 3 of those items, then the memory transference station will spit out a floppy disk. You're going to pick that floppy disk up. Then you're going to take that floppy disk to the quantum mainframe located in the planning offices and insert it. After you insert the floppy disk, then you're going to go up the stairs of the OPC and the doors will be open. Once you go inside the OPC, then a portal to the dark ether will open. However, the portal will not be stabilized correctly, so you need to go back into mission control and talk to Peck once again. Peck is going to tell you to find 3 ether crystals, which you will eventually use each of those 3 crystals to plug into each of the 3 ether reactors. But before you can do that, you have to find these crystals, and Ravenov gives you a code to open the locker just to the left of Peck's office. Once you get the code from Ravenov, all you have to do is walk up to the locker, interact with it, and once you interact with the locker, an ether meter is going to fall out of it. You're going to pick that ether meter up. Then just outside of mission control to the east, you're going to go into the scorched defense location in one of the bunkers and pick up a shovel. Then with the ether meter and with the shovel, you're going to go into the open lot location. The ether meter is going to beep the closer you get to one of these crystals. In the open lot location, you're going to go into a corner right next to a window and dig, and this will summon a crystal out of the ground. Once you interact with that crystal, it's going to spawn a bunch of crystals all over the open lot. And you want to pick up just one of these crystals. Only one of these crystals is good. All of the rest of the crystals are bad, and if you pick up the bad crystals, about 5 to 6 mimics will spawn and attack you. Whereas if you pick up the right crystal, all of the rest of the crystals will disappear and you can move on to finding your second crystal. In order to find the correct crystal, all you have to do is look at the inside of the crystal container, and the crystal is going to be surrounded by either a dark black mist or it's going to be surrounded by a white mist. The bad crystals are the ones surrounded by the dark mist. The good crystal is surrounded by the white mist. Once you find the white mist crystal, pick it up. Then to get the second crystal, you're going to need to progress to the barracks location, and you're also going to need to have the Ray K Wonder Weapon. Once you have the Wonder Weapon and you progress to the barracks location, you're going to go right outside of the south door of the field hospital. That is where the second crystal is going to be located. You're going to once again interact with the ground and use the shovel to dig up the crystal. This crystal is a little bit different. This time you need to have the Wonder Weapon out, and make sure you switch the firing mode by pressing in the change firing mode button so that you can launch the charged shot from the Wonder Weapon. Once the crystal pops up, you need to fire the charged shot from the Wonder Weapon at the crystal. The charged shot from the Wonder Weapon will freeze the crystal in place, and only momentarily, so you need to walk up to the crystal and pick it up while it's frozen in place. If you don't do this quickly enough, the crystal will teleport to another location, and it'll keep on teleporting from one location to the next until you actually get it. Once you have the second crystal picked up, you're going to progress to the jungle defense location, and in the jungle defense location, you're going to progress to the left middle lane. This is where the third ether crystal is going to be located, and the crystal is going to be located in the center of the left middle lane. You're going to use your shovel once again to dig the crystal up from the ground. Once you dig this crystal up from the ground, there's going to be a barrier that surrounds you. If you exit this barrier, you start to take damage, so you need to remain inside the barrier. And while you're inside this barrier, zombies are going to spawn and attack you, and the barrier will remain in place until you eliminate select zombies. Those zombies include the manglers and the hellhounds. Once you kill all of the manglers and the hellhounds that spawn in, then the barrier will disappear that moment, and then you will be able to pick up the crystal. After you have all 3 crystals, you're going to walk up to each of those 3 ether reactors and plug one of those crystals in. After all of the crystals are plugged into each of those 3 ether reactors, then you're going to progress back to the OPC and walk up to the ether portal. Once you walk up to the dark ether portal in the OPC location, the portal is going to fail because Peck tricked you. At this point, you will have to wait a minute or two and let the NPCs talk back and forth to each other and figure out a solution forward. After they are done talking, you're going to progress back to the planning offices and walk up to a monitor. Once you reach this monitor, you're going to interact with it, and at this point, it's important that your texture quality settings are on high. If they are not high enough, you won't be able to see anything that's on the monitor. If your settings are good to go, what you're going to do when you're on the monitor is move around a little blue dot, and you need to hover that blue dot over the yellow dots that you see on the screen, and there's going to be 5 of them. Only one of those yellow dots is going to be the correct one, and every single time you hover over one of those yellow dots, you're going to get a little symbol in the bottom right corner of the screen, and you're looking for a specific symbol to find the correct yellow dot. That symbol that you're looking for is a question mark symbol. Once you find that question mark symbol, then you're going to press in the button to align the satellite dish. Once you perform this action, a red beam is going to shoot down from the sky and hit the dish in Firebase Z, and this will power the ether portal. Once the ether portal is powered back up, you need to go back to the OPC location one last time and interact with the OPC. This will open the ether portal and trigger a cutscene. After the cutscene, you're going to have the final boss boss fight with Orda. Once you start this boss fight, there's no going back, so make sure that you are prepared for it. And Orda is fairly easy to beat. The main attack you have to worry about from Orda is a slam attack. If you get too close to Orda, then that attack can hit you and it can one-hit kill you. But as long as you stay at range, you will be fine. And while you're fighting Orda, there's going to be continuous zombies that just keep spawning over and over and over again. So the main thing is to do as much damage to Orda before the zombies attack you. Then once they start attacking you, focus on the zombies, take them out, and then do a little bit more damage to Orda, and then rinse and repeat that process until Orda is dead. Then once you defeat Orda, you will have beaten the main Easter egg of Firebase Z. And that's all there is to it. If you have any questions at all, please post them in the comment section. Leave a like if you found this to be helpful. Subscribe for more. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.